All right, we got more people joining us on Zoom right now. Awesome. It's going to be an awesome 1 hour together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak, for most of the time. And then I'd like you, if you have a question that you want to ask, just type it out so that it's there. When I finish speaking, then I'm going to then select a few questions and see if I can answer a few questions. So as I'm going along, if you have a question, just type it out, and then I will then read out a few questions, before we conclude, and try and see if I can answer a few questions. All right. So do that. And so I might need to ask you a question, in which case, if I ask you a question, if you have to answer, you must unmute your mic. And then you can speak, and then mute the mic again. So we can just do it that way, and then I think we should be fine. All right. Okay, awesome. So I don't want to take too much time. I'll let others join as we go along. So I've got exciting news. My book is now available. It's now available on lulu.com, lulu.com. So you can go and get the book. As this minute, you can go to the site and type in The Secret to Riches, and you can actually buy the book now online. So it's available online, and you can get to learn the things that I'm talking about, some of which I'm going to be sharing today. So I'm going to be speaking today on one of the chapters, chapter 2 of the book. And so you'll get to hear a bit about what's in it, and but you can actually whole book and go through it yourself, and just learn the things that I've learned over my journey, over the last 24 years in business, and how I lost 100 million rand and still came back and bounced back. So it hasn't all been success; it's been success and failure. So you can learn from that as well, and learn about my experiences and my journey. So the book is available. Go to lulu.com, and you can be able to buy it. Lulu.com, The Secret to Riches, and you can get the book there. All right. Like I said, if you have a question, as I go along, I'd like you to type your question, and once I'm done, I'm gonna then see if I can answer a few questions, some of your questions, once I'm done. So type your question as I go along, and then I'll see if I can get to the questions before we finish. Well, I want to welcome you all, and thank you for signing on. Friends and so on, send them a WhatsApp and remind them to sign on. And we've had to not give out the meeting ID, because last week, as you saw, for those of you who live, you saw we had some hackers which hacked in to our broadcast. So we're only giving the meeting ID to those that subscribe and that register, so that we avoid having hackers coming in and messing up a meeting. So so that's great. So today, from chapter 2 of the book, and it's about mental might, so what I want to deal with there is some of the, I'm going to do bits and pieces on there. I'm not going to go through the whole chapter, but it's important for us to understand, particularly in this day and age and the season that we're in, that you need to develop mental might. Okay, the same way that somebody goes to the gym and trains, every day, and we see the results in their physical body. You know, see if somebody has been exercising, and if you want to see if somebody has been training, you can see by the muscles that they've developed. You can see they've got a 6-pack or an 8-pack or 10-pack, you know, and you can see that their muscles are developed, you know. The same way you can develop your mind, can develop your capacity to understand, your capacity to comprehend, your capacity to make good decisions. You can actually develop that, you know. So just like you would spend time in developing your physical muscles, you can spend time developing your mental might. And I started doing this many years ago, about 20 years ago. I started to develop my capacity. And I looked at myself as a organization, if I can call it, you know, and I'm talking about myself. And I started asking myself, which areas do I lack in? What am I lacking? You know, what are my weak areas? Which areas do I need to improve? And I remember one of the areas that was very difficult for me was the area of public speaking. You know, welcome Pastor Victor on Instagram. I see you, and Christian Makuba, I see you. Welcome. Now, I see that on I started to look at areas in my own life, you know, that were lacking, you know, and one of those areas was public speaking. I know some of you can't believe that, but I was so afraid to stand up in front of people and speak, you know. And yet, ironically, it's one of the gifts that God has given me. God has given me a voice to be able to speak. He has given me the ability to minister and to preach and speak to people. And so the enemy brought fear into my life in order to try and stop my gift from growing. You know, so what did I do? I started confronting that fear. I started developing within myself the capacity to conquer that fear. You know, and I remember over time, I'd had deliberate cases where I went and I just did it afraid. You know, I was afraid, but I did it anyway. And I started conquering that fear, you know, day by day until I overcame it, you know. So it's the same way in your own life. You know, you ask yourself, what areas do you lacking? Which areas are you weak at? And begin to develop them just like you develop muscle in the gym. You know, I remember one time I actually went to the Victoria Falls Bridge. You know, they've got a bungee jumping thing there where they strap you up with this code, and then you're high up a couple of kilometers in the air, and you're supposed to jump, you know. And I went there to do that in order to confront fear that I had of that particular situation, you know. And I remember being strapped up. They took about 15 minutes, strapped me up, and then they took me to the edge of that cliff-like place. And as I looked across, I could see the ground way below. I couldn't see anything holding me, although the ropes was holding my legs, you know. And I had to make a decision to jump, you know. And I decided, I've come too far, I'm gonna jump, you know. So sometimes in life, moments where you gotta decide whether to jump or not. Decide and say to yourself, you know what, I've come too far. I'm gonna jump anyway, you know, because a lot of situations that are gonna bring you health and fortune are gonna require you to do something that takes you out of your comfort zone. Most people want success, but they want it the nice way. You know, want it to come while they're lying in bed. You know, they want it to come when they're relaxing and having coffee or watching a movie. That's not how success comes. It's never come that way. You know, if you ask anybody that's been successful, it may be different, but the process is the same for every single person. They've got to put in the work. They got to put in the hours. They got to increase their mental capacity. You know, they put in whatever it takes to make it work. Just like in the gym, you know, some people use dumbbells. Some people use a bench press. You know, some people go on the treadmill. You know, whatever equipment you use, at the end of the day, the results are going to be more or less the same, regardless of the type of equipment that you use, the same success. there are certain fundamental principles that you've got to apply in order to succeed, and it's universal. Except if you want to win the lottery, you want to win the yes, maybe then that's different. But if you want to succeed the way everybody else succeeds, you've got to put in the work. I remember reading about Elon Musk, one of the successful entrepreneurs wide, and how he was saying hardly getting sleep enough hours a day. And I'm not saying that you mustn't sleep enough hours, but I'm saying to you that his success came at that price. That's the equipment that he used. He pushed himself so that he wasn't able to get enough hours of sleep. I recommend you try as much as you can to get as much hours as you can of sleep. I don't get to sleep as much as I want myself, but at the end of the day, the point is that you've got to put the work in order to get to where you to get to. So what do you have to do? You've got to analyze yourself and say to yourself, you know what, I'm an organization, okay, in this corporation called Dr. Walter. What are the areas where I'm strong at, and what are areas where I'm weak at? And make a list and put that list down, and then begin to augment the areas that you're strong, and then work on the areas that you're weak at. And in some areas you might actually need somebody to stand in for you in the areas that you're weak, because you might not ever be able to deal with some of those areas, but at least you will know which area you're good at and which areas you're not so good at, because not everybody has got all, right? And then begin to focus more on the areas of your strength. Put maximum effort in those areas where you are strongest at, and begin to develop yourself there. So your mind can be grown, your mind can be expanded, your capacity and your capacity to leap forward can be expanded, and it can grow. I didn't think that I could bungee jump off the Victoria Falls Bridge, but I did it. And I accomplished it, simply because I decided to, and I decided to change a part of my mind that was saying that I cannot do. So it is possible. You can do it and expand your capacity. Now, moving on to the thing, and I think this is one of the most important aspects of creating wealth, becoming wealthy and rich in life, and particularly for believers, for those that are Christians, those that know God. All right. This is the point. It's important for you to understand that wealth and riches belong to God. Okay? That's a fundamental, foundational knowledge that you must always have at the back of your mind. And I know the mind easily believes that, wealth belongs to the bank, it belongs to the corporations that own it, it belongs to these institutions. That's what our mind thinks. But you've got to understand that the person who has power and control of resources on the earth is God. So you got to expand your understanding in that regard, because that's going to help you in how you approach transactions and how you approach deals. Because if you approach a deal thinking the person sitting on the other side of the table is the one that controls the deal and giving you the deal, you're going to miss it, because you're going to put your trust in the things that you see in the physical or in your proposal or whatever it is, as opposed to putting your trust in the one who controls the true wealth and the true riches. So if you look at the Bible in Haggai chapter 2 and verse 8, the Bible is very clear. God says, silver and gold belong to me. Okay? Silver and gold belong to me. He didn't say silver and gold, it's mine, but I actually don't have control over it. But there's times when I can take it from Gates and then give it. He said, no, it belongs to him. So you got to change your mind. And this is one thing about God and being a Christian, that you got to understand something. The way God speaks to us and the way God commands us to go into the marketplace is not the same as the way sinners go and do it. Sinners have got their own way way of getting wealth, okay? They got their ways of doing it. But for a child of God, there are rules and regulations that govern how you are supposed to see. And this is one of them. One of them is acknowledging God and acknowledging his ability to bless you, his ability to open doors for you. You know, actually, I'm reminded of one guy that actually missed that particular point. You know, his name is Nebuchadnezzar. You know, I think it's in somewhere in the book of Kings. I don't remember the exact chapter. Now, Nebuchadnezzar became a very rich guy, you know, but with him is as he was his richest, he didn't have this understanding that I'm sharing with you. And so he got up one day and he stood on his balcony and he could see his Rolls Royces and he could see his private jets and all the real estate that he owned. And so he got puffed up, and he said, wow, look at what I've done. Look at the power of my hands. Look at these contracts that I got, etc. And the Bible says while he was still speaking, another voice superseded his own voice and said that you are going to become like an animal and you're going to then eat grass for the next 7 years until you know and understand that wealth belongs to God and that God rules in the kingdoms of men and gives them to whomsoever he wills. And so this guy from a king became like an animal and started to eat grass. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's there in the Bible. If you go check it out, you'll find it. For 7 years from a king, he went and ate grass, And after 7 years, the Bible says that he came to his senses. He acknowledged that God is ruler of the earth and that he gives the resources to whomsoever he wills. And so this foundational truth is so important for you to understand. If you look at Isaiah chapter 50, verse 10, God says that the beasts of the field are mine, and I own a cattle on 1,000 hills. In other words, all the cattle that you see, God says they belong to me, and the beasts of the field, they belong to him. In other words, the resources of this earth belong to God. And so that's so important and that's so foundational, And look at what happened with Solomon. Solomon became the richest man that's ever lived. Up to today, nobody can beat him, not even Jeff Bezos. He's nowhere close to the wealth that Solomon had. Solomon literally had trillions of US dollars coming to him on an annual basis. Trillions of US dollars that were coming into Solomon on an annual basis. Now look at this. Before Solomon got as wealthy as he got, he had one simple truth that actually positioned him for success. And so what he understood was that you've got to honor God as the source of everything, as the source of wealth, okay? And so what did Solomon do? He took, I believe it was 22,000 animals and went and sacrificed them to God. Nobody asked him to do it. God didn't ask him to do it. He just took these animals and went and said, you know what, God, I just want to tell you that you're amazing, you're great, and I want to sacrifice these animals and be a blessing for people. And so can you imagine the party that they had that day, And so the Bible says the same night he did that, God showed up in his room and said to Solomon, what do you want? That's the only thing God said to him. He said, what do you want? And then Solomon says to God, this is so profound. Solomon was wise before he became the wisest man that's ever lived. He already had a measure of wisdom. Why? Because of how he replied to God. So Solomon says, because he could have asked for anything, right? But Solomon says to God, he says, God, I want you to give me wisdom in order to be a blessing to people. Okay. So Solomon understood that there has to be a purpose behind wealth. Okay. He says, I want you to give me wisdom so that I can be a blessing to your people. And I can imagine God stepping back and say, whoa, what kind of a person is this? So you want to be rich and you want money and you want wealth, not for your family, not to buy fancy cars and fancy houses. You want wealth so that you can help somebody else. And that touched God. And so God said, you know what? I'm giving you wisdom, but not only am I giving you wisdom, I'm making you the richest man that ever lived. And then God walked out of that room. Okay. Now, when God walked out of that room, he didn't leave a bag of money in that room. God didn't leave him a PIN code to a bank account. God didn't tell him, okay, there's under a tree. You turn left or right, you're going to $1 billion there, and that's how you start your business. No, what God did for Solomon, God gave him insight and wisdom. And why did God do that? God did that because Solomon's heart and understanding was right. It was in the right place. So this is what's so important. And so you find even today, when you look at most of the rich and wealthy people, even those on the Forbes list, you will find the core, even though they might be sinners, they might not know God as much as you know him, not pray 10 times a day like you do. But one of the things that you will find is that their whole purpose in life is to help humanity and to give to others. Okay, go and check it out. Go do your own stuff of those that are the richest in the world, and you'll find out that I'm correct. Okay, because once you make your life about being a blessing, about touching the lives of all, you will find that wealth will come to you easily. Most of the projects that I've done in my life over the last 24 years, if not all of them have always had one fundamental thing behind it, is that they were able to help other people. They were able to change something in society, change something for other people. Once you have that as a foundation, you know that wealth comes from God, and you know that your wealth is meant to help other people and be a blessing to other people. Nothing can stop you in this world. Okay, so at the end of the day, your project becomes a byproduct of your purpose. Your purpose becomes the most foundational and the most important thing. Why are you starting business? Why are you doing what you're doing? What's motivating you? Why do you want to succeed? That becomes the big question that we must ask ourselves. And once you deal with that question, and if that question is dealt with correctly, then the rest of it falls into place. Settle into a place where things begin to come to you instead of you chasing things. All right. And so that's one thing that's so important. And so understand this, like I said to you last week, and this is in the book. When a Christian gets born again and comes in the kingdom of God, all right, he from the realm of darkness into the realm of light. So the rules that govern his ability to succeed change from that day forward. Okay, the rules that govern your success are not the same anymore. When you are in darkness, rules that govern your success. So the people in darkness do all kinds of things. They steal, they kill, they destroy, they take by trickery, they go to sangomas, they do all kinds of things. You are now in a different kingdom that has a different modus operandi, where your money has purpose. Your money has got to be connected to God and what he wants to do, because God needs to use your hands, he needs to use your wisdom to bless the people. And so you got to understand that a different space. And so there are Christians who don't understand that and want to continue to operate that they like the way they operated before. They were still in the realm of darkness. And so they get frustrated because nothing is working. They're trying this, it's failing. They try this, it doesn't work. Get cheated here and they lose money. They invest here, it doesn't work. Because God is trying to bring your attention to what I'm telling you today. He's trying to bring your attention to where you understand the purpose of wealth. And you understand that it's about trying to be the richest, trying to be number one. It's about the reason why you have money in your hands. And that's so important. That's so foundational. When you look at all the great men that have ever amassed wealth, study them, whether they're in the Bible or not in the Bible, you will find that at the core, at the foundation of their money, there was purpose. Okay. And whether they really knew God that well or not, will find that there was purpose, because God wants to use that money to change certain things, other people, to be blessing society, and so on and so forth. So it's very important that you understand that, that foundational truth about wealth is so vital to your success. Okay. Now, I want to go on to the next thing, right? um, which is you have to change the way you think, about money. So the general population has a love to present those who have money while simultaneously hoping for it. The expectations, that they have of, and this is in part one of the reasons that the children and grandchildren of the wealthy have a so-called glass floor, okay, beneath them, just by way of which family you are born into, receive knowledge and networks that allow them to make better and long-term decisions, often without fully realizing how they are benefiting. Okay. No matter which household you grew up in, the key is to push and move forward past selling your labor or work and to push towards making your money work for you. Okay. So the key is to get to a point where each dollar that you have becomes an employee of yours. Okay. You must look at your money as your employee. And that money needs to go and work for you to produce other employees, so it's for labor in your hands. Okay. So that's important. Okay. Now, the other thing is that your beliefs and attitude about money influence your ability to achieve and maintain wealth. Just like I was saying, you need to understand the purpose behind money. You need to understand that God is the source of all wealth. Those are important beliefs. So, what is your philosophy when it comes to money? What do you believe? Do you believe about saving money? What do you believe about paying your debts? What kind of are you accustomed to? What do you believe about a deal that you're closing with somebody? Do you believe in cheating someone because they don't know about certain profits that you make, or do you believe in being equitable and being fair to everybody? So that becomes very important. Ultimately, there are people who have made money and have lost it. Now, the Bible says there's two things that happen when you make money the wrong way. Okay, two things will happen to you. The Bible says that. It says either you will lose money, number one, or you will lose your life. Okay, so those are the two things that happen to you. Okay, now I've seen that happening many times in my life. Okay, I've seen that happening. Okay, all right, I got people joining us. I got Cash Flow. Hi, Cash Flow. Jabu, how are you? Welcome, Lloyd. Mashita, hi. Sky Boys Design, hi. Nadia, hello. And Josie, hi. Glad to have you guys join. So those are the things so important for you to understand, that you need to be equitable in how you do your deals and you do your transactions, because ultimately you want to be able to sleep at night. You don't want to do a deal that haunts you and then you're not at peace, and then you're worried if the police are going to come after you, or you're worried about something. That money is not nice. You can't enjoy it. You want money that you and you are at peace with your children, and you're not having to worry about anything. All right. Now, the other thing about successful people is that rich and successful people are voracious readers. They always challenge themselves to learn new things. They are constantly giving their brain a mental upgrade, by absorbing new information and gaining knowledge and experience and insight. You can never stop learning in life. Understand that you can always expand your knowledge. And you won't believe how many times in my life just one piece of information changed the direction I was taking and helped me to step a bit higher. Okay, because the thing that makes a difference in this world between you and the next person, listen to this, the thing that makes a difference between you and the next person is your knowledge. That's it. Your knowledge is what makes the difference between your level in life and where the other person is. Knowledge is knowledge that they have about that particular industry that they're in, knowledge that they have about how to close that deal, knowledge that they have about how to access certain information and how to go about executing the business that they're executing. That's the difference that makes you different from other people, is knowledge. And so if knowledge is the thing that makes you succeed or fail, you've got to do everything in your power to gain as much knowledge as you can about whatever area you're in and whatever it is that you want to pursue, you know. All right. Okay. All right. Welcome. Lesetaba, welcome. Nozi Maslava, welcome. Prince Odepa, welcome. Quali, hi, welcome. I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying here, right? So, so growing and understand growing your wealth will take time. It will take effort and dedication, but continuing to learn, grow will help you adapt to change and make wise long-term financial decisions that ensure you'll meet the goal of being rich. Being rich is a monumental goal. However, you can't simply say that you want to be rich. First of all, you need an exact number you aim for and need to have a specific date that you want to achieve that goal. So in other words, set a target. By end of this year, where do you want to be? How much money do you want to have? You know, set a target goal, all right, so that you have something to work towards. Some people say you must have a vision board, okay? You must write a vision board in terms of what you want to achieve, okay? Now, another thing that successful people do is they know how to network with other successful people. Okay, wealthy people understand the importance of surrounding themselves with other successful people. Okay, it's so important. You know, you look at the people that we are bringing on this platform, it's have made it in life. These are people. It's not people that I know just, you know, during coronavirus. These are, I've known most of them for many, you know. And by the way, next week we've got Bishop Tudor. Bishop is going to be with us, so you don't want to miss Bishop. You know, Bishop is on a whole another level. So you need to go on the Instagram page, go on our Facebook page to get more details. But Bishop is going to be with us, just on a whole nother level. Bishop Bismarck is going to be with us. So what I'm saying is that it's so important to network with other people that have also made it. And that's why we are making this platform available to you, because even though you might not know these people personally, but you can be able to hear from them and learn from them their own journey, and you can be able to ask them questions on a one-on-one basis, so that you can have an opportunity to actually associate with them and be able to learn from their own, you know. So wealthy people spend time networking with other people who are wealthy and who are also driven and talented, you know, and who have the potential, even those who have the potential to be successful. The rich spend time every month to know other like-minded people at conferences, at events, at gatherings, or just grab a coffee or a drink with someone, you know, so that they can learn from them. Because the only thing that makes you different from the next person is your knowledge. That's all. If your knowledge is the only thing you're different, then you gotta invest time in getting to acquire that knowledge to help you be ahead. All right. Now, while I'm talking, if you have a question, I want you just to type it out. Type out your question, and I'm going to be answering a few questions in a couple of minutes. You know, I'm going to be taking a few of your questions in a couple of minutes, and we're going to then take it from there. And then the last thing, okay, you got to know your worth, okay? You need to know, while every person is unique, having some kind of gift or talent, you know, every person needs to understand what their worth is. You know? If you want to be ahead of the game, this is so important for you. Okay, understand what you are worth. Okay, so that when you go out there, you don't oversell yourself or undervalue yourself. You know, you need to position yourself correctly. You know, don't go and sell yourself as engineer or as a mechanic. When you know yourself, you can't fix cars, because what's going to happen is you're going to mess up, and you actually gonna lose and sued, and you're gonna have more challenges than anything else. All right. So you gotta know your worth, know your lane, know what it is that you're good at, and begin to focus on those areas that you know you're good at. And also get outside of your comfort zone, like I said. Because wealthy people are successful because they've learned that success comes from those who embrace as discomfort as much as possible. They understand that the only way to really improve is to push themselves beyond their limits. If you want to become wealthy, you're going to need to fuel your creative spark and come up with unique business ideas that can take you to the next level. Wealth and success do not just emerge from the safety of 8 to 5 jobs. They come from drawing on your inner strength and going for your big. All successful business leaders, without fail, are visionaries. They're game changers. They have gone beyond their comfort zone in order to achieve ultimate success. The people who will go down in history had the courage to face their fears and take that first step into the unknown. That's what makes a successful person. The ability to go into the unknown and do what others say cannot be done. That's what success is all about. I want to encourage you those things that I've just shared with you. You need to understand first and foremost that it's so important that your foundation, you understand that God is your foundation. That's so important because the Bible says silver and gold belong to God. All right. So if you don't have that foundation, I mean, look, you're gonna battle. Okay. So it's so important that you understand that, and also to be able to tie your business and whatever you are doing to purpose. You need to be able to do that, tie it to purpose. Are you doing it just so you can buy a nice car, so you can live in a nice house? Or are you doing it because there's a purpose behind it? What's the purpose behind your business? Ask yourself tonight, what's the purpose behind your business? What do you want to do? If you had $1 billion today, if somebody came and dropped in-house or wherever you are, what will you do with $1 billion? Will you take 99% of it and spend it and buy a yacht, this and that, and then give a few family members? What are you going to do? That's important. Okay. You need to, and then also you need to understand that you need to develop your mental capacity. Okay. You need to develop mental capacity. Just like someone who goes to the gym and gyms every day, you need to develop your mental capacity and understand that the thing that makes you different from the other person that succeeded and that hasn't succeeded is your knowledge. So how do you develop your mental capacity? You read, you learn, you exercise your power to make decisions. Okay, you expand your mind, you expand your vision. Okay, if you are thinking just of Gauteng, begin to see in your mind, begin to see South Africa. Okay, begin to see South Africa. If you are seeing South Africa, begin to see Africa. If you are seeing Africa, begin to see the world. Begin to tell yourself it's possible, even though you're afraid of it. Begin to tell yourself you can't do it. It doesn't cost you anything to dream. It doesn't think to look ahead and to envision. All right. So begin to do that. And as you begin to do that, you'll find that things around you begin to change. There's something that happens to a child of God. When you begin to do the things I'm telling you, circumstances begin to align with your thinking. Things begin to come to you that you didn't expect were going to come to you. People begin to come to you that you didn't expect were going to come to you. Okay, that's how it works. The minute you want something, it's there. You're thinking of this, it's because that's how God has built the system. That's how it works for those who embrace this truth. So I want you to succeed, and we've set this platform for you to learn from the best so that you can make it in life. All right. And within the next week or two, we're going to be launching our online university where you'll be able to go. We've got over 70 accredited courses, MIC courses that have accreditation. You can get a certificate. You can get your diploma. You can get your. We've also got entrepreneurship courses on there that you can learn about how to be an entrepreneur. You can learn about boardroom etiquette, etc. So we're making all this available so that you can win in life, right? So I want you to look out on our social media platforms. We're going to be announcing that. That's a huge announcement that's coming. This is a global institution, and trust me, it's world class. I'm telling you, anybody in China, in India, in Australia, can go on there and learn principles and learn courses that can help them to make it in life. It's not going to cost you much. We made sure that the cost, the entry level is much lower so that you can be able to get in there and learn, especially during this COVID period. Is the best time to study, is the best time to acquire knowledge. So go to our pages, my Instagram page, Facebook, and I'll be looking out for in the next week or two. And like I said, my book is, the book is out, it's available now. You can go to lulu.com, lulu.com, and you can get yourself a copy of the book. It's now available. You can do that, and you can learn about the things that I've been sharing also tonight. So, all right, so I'm gonna try and take a few questions. I'm going to check on the questions that you've been asking here and see if I can answer a few questions. All right, there we go. All right, so King Francis says that's true. Make my money work for me. Yes, you need to make your money work for you. That's true. Right. Yes. Great. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna check for your questions here. Okay, Don Villa says, I'm a professional accountant. Feel like I can do more than just being an accountant. My question is it wiser to start embarking in a different industry, or should I first focus on accounting, then diversify later? Okay, Don Villas. Okay, Don Villas, it really depends on your capacity. Okay. Now, some people are able to juggle multiple assignments at the same time. And I don't know how your accounting, how demanding your job is. Okay. It seems to me like you have a passion for developing other things. Now, I always encourage people to have multiple streams of income. Okay. Don't rely on one area. I mean, look at the current situation with the COVID-19 right now. A lot of people who only had one source of income are in big trouble right now. Okay. So you need to develop multiple sources of income. So if you have that capacity, and if you have the time, and if it's not a contrast for you, I would encourage you to develop yourself and embark in other areas and not just focus on accounting. Okay. I don't know if this accounting work is your own company or you're working for somebody. Okay. If it's your own company, develop your accounting to a point where you can employ other people that you give to do the work that you're doing right now, and then pay them while you develop the other business. Okay. So I hope I've answered your question, VS. All right. Okay. Good. Okay. People are saying thank you so much for the meeting. Thank you for sharing wisdom. My pleasure. Thank you. People are saying knowledge is power. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing wisdom. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm glad there's not many questions, It means it was all right. I'm gonna allow one or two people to ask questions if there is, and then we're gonna wrap up. But I don't see any more questions yet.
Hi there, Dr. Walter. We've got Sam Dube that lifted up his hand, so we can allow Sam Dube to ask his question.
Okay, Sam, go ahead. Hello, Sam.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. Today it was a good day. Everything was clear and it was straight to the point and it lifted us. I'm a little bit challenged. I cannot say that I'm a little bit challenged. I'm really challenged. The thing is that we are here. I'm just thinking of my fellow Christians that are many people. They are having business plans. They want to get to business, but the thing that challenges people is how they think. And this information that you have given us today, it helps us to think outside the box and to go on. But the other thing that I'm looking at, many of our friends, many of our fellow Christians, they want to get into business. But the most important thing that hit us support is financial support. I think what we can do, we are not saying that we have to spoon feed people get into people. Because if you spoon feed somebody, he can survive, especially in business. He cannot. But what I'm saying is, if we can have I don't know how can we, especially us, we are, especially somebody who is in business, that he can support other people that are coming, and especially in financially. If somebody can support each other, because in present years we are looking at it, our country need us as Christians to get into business, because if us Christians get into business, become the pillar of business community.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sam, I understand the question. All right. Now I'm going to answer your question this way. Okay. Business has to do with how you think. It's so important. Okay. Now I want to share something with you that might surprise you. But money is not the most important thing in a business. You've got to tell yourself and you've got to train yourself that money is the important thing, okay, for you to start or to run a business. Most important thing is your idea, is your plan. It is what you want to do. Okay? There's so much money out there for great ideas, for people with a great plan. You can get money from anybody. When you have a great plan, you can get money from your friends, from your uncle, get money from anybody really when your plan is great. Okay? You know, even in my own life, it was not money that I got first. Money was not the first thing. I had ideas, and then after I had good ideas, I went out to look for money, and money came, and I had multiple options. Okay, so what I'm trying to say to you is this: focus more time on developing your idea. Focus more time on developing what you want to do than focus more time on trying to get money. If you do that, I can guarantee you, you're gonna succeed. And the time that you spend focusing on developing your idea is like building a foundation, okay? Because it's hard, it's not easy, because others are already building at roof level, but meanwhile, you're digging down. But the better you develop your idea, the more you develop the full what you want to do. If you come to me as an investor and you say to me, I want you to put money, you want me to put money in your business, I'm going to ask 5, 10 questions. If you can't answer those 10 questions about your business, I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, I'm not an investor. But if you've developed your idea to a point where you can answer every single question that anybody can ask, okay? If I ask you, how are you going to deal with coronavirus? How are you with logistics? How are you going to deal with your competitors? How are you going to, and you are able to answer every single question, then you are ready for me to put money in your business. So money is the last question. You need to spend more time developing your idea, developing whatever it is, to a point where anybody asks you about it in your sleep, you're able to answer it. Okay. All right. I'm going to take another. Right, Omega, can you go ahead, Omega? And can we have the others just mute their mics if you like to talk because it's echo.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I wanted to ask a question basically when it comes to willpower. Willpower alone is not enough to propel us to our dreams.
Can I just ask everybody else to mute their mics? Just hold on a minute. Please mute your mic because it's an interference with your cell phone. If you can mute your mics, please.
Hello? I wanted to ask about willpower. Willpower alone is not enough to actually propel us to our dreams, but what we need is the underlying elements that we need to apply for us to go that can back up that willpower, because we do have the desire, we do have the resource, we do have the knowledge and the skills, but sometimes we find out there are some underlying elements of which we tend not to discover exactly what it is we need to do for us to go to our dreams, for us to go to our business levels that we need to go to. So I need to learn from you exactly the underlying elements that you have applied yourself in terms of picking up your willpower.
Okay. All right, good. I think these are, I've been sharing all of that, Omega. I mean, if you've been listening, I've been sharing about the different things that you need to do in order to back up your willpower, okay? You are correct. Willpower is not the only thing that, that you need in order to succeed. You know, you need more than that, okay? So, for instance, I just honored Sam just now by telling him that you need to develop your plan, your idea, okay? All right? A business plan, most of us know the word business plan, okay? Now, but I want to focus on the last part of the word plan, P-L-A-N, you know? You need to have a plan, okay? So, and that plan needs to be detailed. It needs to be one that you thought through, a plan that looked at your strength, you've looked at your threats, you've looked at your opportunities, you've looked at your weaknesses. That's all SWOT analysis that you need to do. You need to look at your market segment. You need to look at your price structure. You need to look at your competitors. You know, you need to look at your cash flows. You need to look at your expenditure. What kind of expenditure do you need? Okay. You need to look at your working capital. You need to look at how many employees do you need? Do you need so many? A lot of things that you need. Okay. So willpower must be backed up by a plan. Okay. So you need to have a plan. And how do you develop a plan? You increase your capacity, your mental capacity. Like I said, just like being in the gym, you need to develop your mental capacity. Like I always say, you can look at any business. This is the easiest way to actually get a business. Think of any business today, okay? You can do the same thing that business is doing and you can do better. Now, you might not start where that business is. You might start much lower. The truth is, you can develop more superior way of delivering the same product, the same service, like what they're doing, which will be able to beat that company. But it takes you to develop your capacity and you to believe that you can do it. Because think of Amazon right now. Amazon is the biggest company in the world right now. To try and think that you can defeat Amazon, it sounds impossible, right? But it's not impossible. It happened before with many companies. There was Yahoo. Yahoo was one time the big search engine. In fact, at that time, email was synonymous with Yahoo. Search engine was synonymous with Yahoo. If you mentioned a search, you're talking Yahoo. If you sent email, you were talking Yahoo, okay? But today, I don't know the last time I saw a Yahoo email address, because Sergio and the other guy, Larry, developed Google, which now has taken over. And even Google today is threatening Microsoft because they've developed their own Word document. One of the things you're going to see on our online institution when we launch in the next week or two, we've got our own book on that site. You know, you're going to see it when you become a part of the institution. We've got our own Facebook, and I use Facebook. It's not called Facebook, but I'm so that you understand. We've got our own Microsoft. We've got our own Word. We had to think outside the box in order to develop something that's unique for the students that are going to be coming on board and learning, so that we make it a lively community where you can share information. So we had to think of different things that can help you and are going to be part of the institution. I didn't want to just do the same thing that everybody is doing, okay? So that's how you succeed. You take the same thing that someone's doing and you make it better, okay? So that's what it's all about, you know? You've got to have a plan, and you're going to make your plan become the best plan that there is, okay? I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, indeed.
Is there anybody with a burning question? One last question. Otherwise, we're going to close. If you have
One
a
last
burning
question.
Yeah.
One last question, Dr. Walter, that we have is in Jabulo. He has got his hand
Okay.
up. Jabulo.
All right, Jabulo, go ahead.
Afternoon, evening, Big Chief. How are you?
I'm fine, Jabulo. How are you?
Good, thanks. I just wanted to ask you, in instances that you find yourself in business deals, and now you have to make a decision based on capital allocation. A lot of money gets depleted by partners and financial mismanagement. How do you advise that from the beginning? As partners, you discuss how the capital will be spent, or capital expenditure, as you were explaining, and project application,
Jabulo,
because you reinvest in project.
I missed the first part of your question.
Okay, how do you create a situation in partners where there is proper financial management, a capital application in terms of projects that you invest in?
All right, so you're saying, if I understand, you've got partners, and the partners want to take the capital that you've invested and they want to use it for something else that's not what you that's not the business that you want to do.
Yeah, especially when you're the youngest in the team. I don't know if that makes sense. It's sort of like an age thing more than a business decision.
Okay. Now the question is, who put the money? You know, who's the person that put the money? Did you get the money from a bank or an institution, or did you is it your money that you put, or who put the money?
It was seed capital from the partners.
From the partners. The first thing you do now, and I said this last week as well, you know, when you start a business, make sure that you have the right agreements in place, okay? You need to have, of course, number one, you must have a company, okay? But beyond the company, you've got your memorandum of understanding, and then you need to have your shareholders agreement. That shareholders agreement needs to stipulate how the business will operate, okay? It needs to stipulate whether you're going to have a management board. It needs to stipulate, how decisions are going to be made. It needs to stipulate if there's reserved board matters. It needs to stipulate if you have a chairman and whether the chairman is a casting vote. If you want to spend money, all of those things must be decided up front. So don't find yourself in the situation where you are in now, where C Capital is in, and then there is no document that you can refer to, So I always say that piece of paper has got a longer term memory than all of us, okay? You can always go back to the document that you signed, and you can say, you know what, we signed this, and this is what it says. Guys, we got to stick to the agreement, okay? And then you're not going to have challenges. And if you don't want to within the rules of what you agreed, then you've got wrong partners. I'm sorry to say that. Okay, you've got to have rules for a business in order for the business to succeed. If you don't have rules for that business is bound to fail. You got to know who's your chairman, who's your chief executive officer, who's CFO who handles the money. How does the CFO release the money? Is on his own? Does he sign off with 2 or 3 other people? You got to have your management in place. You got to have all kinds of levels. You got to have corporate governance, your risk and governance in place. You got to have lawyers, you have company secretary. You got to have all of those. And if you can't afford it now, you can outsource it. There are companies that you outsource actually can provide you that service. But that's if you want to do a serious business. If you put your own money in that business, you have to demand all of these things, because otherwise your money is at risk. Anybody can decide at any time what to do, and that decision might be the wrong decision. Okay, so I hope that helps you. All right.
100%, 100%.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Could I see you? Welcome. Could I in from US? Hey, good. Great, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, the book is ready. Go to lulu.com, lulu.com, and get your copy. Everything that we spoke about today is in the book, so you can get a copy of it. And look out online university. It's going to be up within the next week or two. Go subscribe to our Instagram, subscribe to Facebook, and it's going to be lit. We got our own Facebook there. We got our own Microsoft Word there. We got our own community and social media environment. We got 70 accredited courses that are global courses that you can actually be able to subscribe to. So, I wish you guys all the best. Next week, we've got Bishop Judah Bismarck. Bishop, most of you know Bishop. He doesn't need any introduction. He's going to be with us. So I want you to invite as many people, because it's going to be a jam-packed next week. You're going to be able to interact with Bishop and ask him questions and talk about he's building a multi-million-dollar facility, and you can ask him about that and all the different things that you might want to ask him about. All right, so guys, take care, all the best, and I'll see you next week. And go to the social media pages and subscribe, okay? Have a good night.